Mischief managed hat confirmed.
Oh, look at that. You went and found my hat. Let's head over, get this thing started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
How you doing there, friends? My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is January 22nd, 2026. We're gonna write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? I see a few folks wandering in, and they're right over here. C# Titan, hope you're doing well. I see you've been in hospital a little bit. I hope things are getting better for you. Billy Cool, hello. Well, we'll see some more folks wandering in, I'm sure, over the next few hours that we're together writing some code, talking about modernizing apps and AI and some other cool stuff. Got to monitor YouTube, get that set. There we go. So yesterday I was in New York City for the AI tour. This is one of these events that Microsoft runs where they stop in maybe a dozen, 18 cities around the world, and there's various presentations from product teams, from dev relations folks, executives showing off, touting the cool new features and apps that they want to encourage folks to check out and try and use. So it's a great opportunity for folks to come in and meet and learn more about the product. And I forget if there was a fee attached. I don't think there was, but whatever. I was there to meet some of my colleagues and discuss and work on projects with them. And I helped proctor a session where we were teaching folks how to get started with GitHub Copilot, like literally in Visual Studio Code, how to use ask mode, edit mode, plan mode, agent mode to start working with their projects. So not terribly sophisticated, but it's a good reminder that there are folks who have no idea how to get any of this stuff started. They're really, really behind, right? They're where some of us are in getting started and using and working through and doing more with the AI. And that's something to be aware of, something to understand. I get it. I do. But at the same time, if you're not actively working and maintaining your skills, like you're not doing your thing as a developer that you should be doing. Like maintaining and keeping things up are kind of important and part of what we all should be doing. A carpenter that isn't learning about new materials and techniques in building furniture or building a home, that's a problem. So let me catch up a little bit with what's going on here in chat. How you doing there, Chris Funk? Welcome in, and yeah, we'll get some entries put on the map here. Maybe we do a little work on the map. That wouldn't be too bad to do either. Hello from Philly. You learned the Blazor libraries are archived. I've seen and heard that as well. That the maintainer has decided to move on from software development and maintaining them. Yeah. I get it. I do. Not everybody's going to be able to maintain everything all the time. I'm seeing that my cup here is getting caught. There you go. How you doing there? Is it Jan Jordy? Hello, welcome. Hang on. Where's the camera? My camera here. Not that one. Yeah, that one. See if I can adjust the filter. There we go. Austin, Texas. How you doing, Nolly? And good to see you. Hello. Back that off a smidge. Yeah, there we go. That's better. It gives you irritation when people on Twitter keep saying bad things about .NET and C#. So here's the thing, right? On Twitter, you get more engagement by making people angry at you and having them shout back at you. So, like, that's a well-known thing. To get more engagement, which gets you more followers, which gets you more engagement, happens because you say things that irritate people, and they have a reason to argue with you. Saying positive, upbeat things doesn't get anywhere near as much engagement. So that, combined with a lot of folks on Twitter are not enterprise developers. They're tech elite who want to use the latest foo language that somebody decided to come up with, and the latest lawn chair JavaScript library that was just published 2 days ago, and they're really excited about, but doesn't do anything new and different from this framework that was just released 3 weeks ago by somebody else in another part of the world. Like, whatever. Let me get some music playing in the background here, and we'll chat a little bit more. I'm going to go with the Stream Beats EDM playlist here today. Scroll down here, and let's start here. This is called Electric Overdrive. This is music that's DMCA free. Listen to it wherever you want. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. Let me back up a little bit. No additional words about the visor glasses. We're waiting for some. We believe we're waiting for some non-compete to expire with Samsung before they're allowed to publish. That said, the Samsung devices aren't being purchased that much. Like, the sales on them haven't been anything to brag about. Like, they're not actively out there publishing notes saying, look at how many we sold. If they were selling a lot of them, they would have made a big announcement in January. Oh my gosh, we sold 50,000 of these over the end of year holidays. They didn't write anything like that, which doesn't bode well. We'll see when their next quarterly report comes out how many they sold, because they'll have to disclose that. Let's see here. How am I doing? I'm doing quite well. My health is much better. Thank you for asking. I did have some problems with the train yesterday, so I take the train into New York City when I visit there. I'm just north and west of Philadelphia, so I'll drive into New Jersey, near Trenton, New Jersey, and get a train there and ride that into New York City, because to drive into New York City is prohibitively expensive. The tolls around the city are crazy expensive. Literally, between the tolls and the parking in Manhattan, we're talking hundreds of dollars, versus I go park, get on the train, and all in, it's like $35-$50. Like, done. That's fine. That works. And I can sit down and read and compute and whatever while I'm on the train, right?
Test chamber complete.
Oh?
Results.
Yeah.
Your code quality declined by 47%.
That's rough, Charlie.
Please proceed to the cake acquisition disappointment room.
Really? Really? I'm not getting any of the bot text flowing through here. What's with that? Yeah. So the first train that I was trying to catch was canceled, so I had to wait and get on the next one. So, hey McNets, good to see you. And I said hello to Nalian. Yes. Parliament Zero. Do I use any client generator library from the Open API schema? Well, there's tools that are built in to built in is the wrong word. There are tools in Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code that will generate the libraries for you for .NET. So yes, when I do use Open API clients, there's a connected services branch that you can right click on and say generate, and you point it at the Open API endpoint, and no problem. So yes, works quite well. It's really nice. Right, and those are the benefits that you get because you've chosen C# and .NET or Visual Basic or F#, and this really rich, well thought out and integrated collection of tools and environment. Like you're not waiting and looking for somebody who isn't working closely with those folks who work on those other features. They're not using the right tool for the right job. They're just getting clicks. Totally agree, Nalian. A question about TypeScript and React. When would you use one over the other? Well, they're two different things. Like, you can use TypeScript with React, right? React is a JavaScript framework. It's a user interface framework that uses JavaScript and CSS. You can use TypeScript to write React code. So you can use them together. You don't have to, but you can. So your choice. I think there's all kinds of reasons to use TypeScript with React, right? TypeScript solves a lot of problems as you're writing code instead of waiting for them to surface after the fact. So, am I still banned from cutting cake? No, this was awful. This was awful. How you doing there, PC nerd? So, let me go out to Twitter. So here's the deal. We had some we had some chili that we made in the house the other day, and I made some cornbread to go with it, and I make cornbread in a cast iron pan, and so it ends up being a round loaf of cornbread, right? And I make actual cornbread, like made with cornmeal. You know what I mean? And here's the deal. I was so excited that it came out perfect. Looked beautiful. Nice golden brown crust on it. Looked great. And I want to cut out first piece. I'm so hungry. It looks great. And well, this is what I ended up cutting it, and then I cut a piece for Mrs. C# Fritz, and then I finished cutting all the way around, and I ended up with pieces that were wedges that were cut like this. Oh no. I didn't cut that quite right. Oops. So, yeah, it's going to be a while before I'm allowed to cut cake again. Yeah. Hey. You'll walk to my house now? How you doing there, John? Yeah, I make a really good cornbread. So, love seeing the icons, but the icons popping up on the map here. I'll even zoom in a little bit so we can see C# Titan there in Melbourne. So, let's see. Let me do a little bit more here. Yeah, see, the quotes aren't coming out quite right from Charlie. Like, part of me wants to dip back in there. That, hey there, Ravnus. See, and there's another message that should have gotten picked up and placed appropriately. And I think we can do some updates there. See, and right, D-Bart Dog, Kansas City, Missouri, right? It should pick up those messages and place a pin. So maybe we take a little bit here and tweak and tune. And you asked for a quote from Gladys, and we didn't get that, did we? Right?
You know, at Sharp Fritz I was promised there would be cake if I helped humans learn to code.
Chuck Beasley
The
just
cake was a lie.
resubscribed for 41
So
months.
is your coding ability.
Oh, man. Chuck, thank you so much for the resub. 41 months. Thank you so much. Yeah, look at that, Parliament. We'll drop a marker there for you. And see, it should have also plotted and zoomed as a secondary to Timbuktu, but it gets... I think there's a queuing issue with how it does the animations here. So, you know what? Let's open Notepad and just put together a couple issues here. I should actually use the to-do list that I do have built in here. But I want to review locations sent at the same time. Right? I want to review how it handles that. Problem with some locations. And let's grab some of those. Right? Good morning from Timbuktu. I know it knows how to do that, so I'm not even... I think that's a timing thing. But there you go. Ravnos saying... How you doing, Ravnos? Saying ahoy from Miami. And then top of the morning from Kansas City, Missouri. It should have handled both of those. So I think we can take a swag at those. And then there was also a problem with just Virginia. So, hello from Map. Yes, there's Map. That's actually a place. So, yep. So we should be able to tweak and tune and go after a couple of those real quick. Add in oh hi there. Well, I think we can actually just isolate on the keyword from. And we saw our friend Paul on Tuesday. Right, and a number of folks do this where they'll just write a location as 2 words. And part of me says I should do it. C# Josh, there you go. Oh yeah, I'm so fancy. So fancy. Nothing but the fancy. So there's that, and then there's I feel like there's also a queuing issue with the voice messages, but does it still have an issue plotting a location that includes an emoji? It's having a hard time because the Twitter emotes look like a word. It's having a problem recognizing that that's not part of the location. And I think we can do something about that also, right? Yeah. Yeah. Locations sent at the same time. Some locations. I also want to make sure. I want to cue the fly-in navigation on new locations, right? So that it zooms in on one, and if there are like several of them stacked up, zoom into the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and let those all run back and forth. There you go, Sam. Hello. See, and it actually said there one location queued up, and I want to get it to go through that properly, right? Do you mind if I take a little bit and take a swag at this? See if we can clean up just a few of these items. So, I'm gonna come to that one. I feel like that's right. These I feel like we can do first. The location sent at the same time, and then the fly-in navigations, I think we can... This one I think is going to take the most investigation. But that shouldn't be hard to do. So, yeah, let's see what we can do here on just a couple of these things. Now, I do have Charlie running in the background. I always launch Charlie in watch mode. So, as we make changes, it will update. And I may clear out some of your locations from the map. Yeah, Chuck, it says it plotted Timbuktu for you. But I don't see it. Yeah, I had to refresh to get it. Which tells me that it's not... Hey, Sharer. It's... Something's happening when it's sending the message and it's not... It's either sitting in a queue in the browser, in browser memory, or... No, I think it's sitting in a queue in browser memory, and it's not doing something with it. So, let's see if we can take a look at some of these. Resolving locations is actually a heck of a lot easier to do. I still can't get Power Toys installed, so I don't have fancy zones running properly. So I am a little amiss on some of this. Right. And yes, I'm zoomed in way too much here. Dear Lord. What is that? So the text and the interactions, so that we can go take care of Mr. Ravnos and his oh hi dare. I believe it's in here. Yeah. Right, look at all these scenarios. But it burns through these quick. It really does resolve them quickly. I don't see the test project. Oh no, down here. Yeah. So come over here, close that, close you two. The patterns and lookup that happen here for text messages to identify locations from them still isn't 100% accurate. I've got a few text blocks that it just doesn't locate or identify as locations. Period. Can we isolate and add as a catch-all when somebody uses the keyword from? Right. And identify a location after that word. Additionally, sometimes we trip up on punctuation after a location and emotes after a location. Let's add some, you know what? That's a second pass. We also occasionally have folks that will just post the name of their location in chat. And I want to figure out a way to search for a location if they just share 1 or 2 words. Period. A key example of this is we had somebody share just, quote, Mexico City, quote. Really? You're... Okay. Yeah, Power Toys is still broke. So the regex, the volume of regex in here, I was worried about it at first, and I think I've mentioned this in the past when I've worked on this. Turns out this, when it's compiled, runs in like 3 milliseconds because it's all loaded in memory. So adding more regex here isn't a terrible thing. Catch-all from pattern to detect standalone location names. All right, so what did you do? See, that looks weird. So what do we got? Added the catch-all pattern. So word border from, and then some, captures any reasonable text after the word from. Uses word boundaries and stop words to prevent over capturing. Placed as lower priority so specific patterns take precedence. There we go. And then standalone location. So letters, I forget what /s is. Matches 1 to 3 capitalized words that could have location names like Mexico City. Placed as lowest priority to avoid false positive. Enhanced contains location providers. So if the message is less than 30, and if it has less than 3 words. Okay. Okay. That should help, right? And Charlie is... Yes, go ahead, rebuild. Refresh that. When would I choose a model over auto in Copilot? When I'm doing design work, when I'm having a conversation to push out a design and flesh out more, I would do one of the Claude models because it's so chatty. When it comes time to actually do the implementation, I would lean towards GPT at that point, or auto. What happened here? Restart that, John. Let's go. So now I want to add unit tests for those last couple messages. Ahoy from Miami, Florida. Top of the morning, Kansas City, Missouri. I don't think it's going to get those. I don't think it's going to get those. So, let's add some unit tests for the location identification from these sentences. And let's see what it comes up with here. So are the days gone where devs program the entire app from scratch, start to finish? Yes, Cy Gamma, I think they are. Yes. because you can get so much done by handing it off to the AI, especially like what I'm doing here. Generate some unit tests for this. Add a little bit of extra business logic to handle this exceptional scenario. Get the AI to build some of it, double check it like we just did, and then come back as a second pass. So, yes, there's already a test structure. Uses XU. Yeah, go get it. I feel like we're missing some instructions then if it has to go look that up. You wish your regex knowledge was better. You once worked with a guy that could read and write it fluently. So there's another thing where we can point to a regex and say, explain this to me. So yeah, it's already, well, okay, there's the test, and it's gonna fail. Oh boy. What are you doing? How you doing, Digital Drummer Jay? Hello. I do understand folks' frustration and with regex. It's a really good tool for the job. It's a really good tool. And let Copilot just manage it. Just hand it off to Copilot. Like, that's one less thing that I need to worry about. Like, here, you go figure this out. You explain to me what that regex does. And it's really good at giving you that data. What are you doing? What the heck what is... What are you doing here? Come on now. Curious to think of what the mental model should be. Should we have the idea of the app, then move the AI, have the AI build it out? Build it out, I think, is the wrong... Not build it entirely out, but build a good chunk of it, yes. Yeah, we're going to come back and ask it about emoji next. What are you doing? What did you do here? What did you do? There you go.
Mischief managed hat confirmed.
That's right. Why did... No. What the heck are you doing? Yeah, build and run. Yeah, that's right. Go. And there it is, building. That doesn't build. I don't like those. Did I move? Hang on. No. Not a solution folder. I want to add an existing project. That one. Yeah. All right. Undo that. And it's in here. There, location tests. There we go. Move this over here. This. No, comma. I didn't like the way that you created those tests at all. Period. Instead, create tests for these new scenarios in the location tests file that I have included in this context. Period. Run the tests with this project to verify that your new features work properly. There we go. You enjoy not having to do boilerplate code much? Yes, totally agree. You should have had something like Copilot when you were doing Perl, right? Right. New test cases requested. See, look at that. All right. Run those tests. Here we go. 14 failed. Good. Now it's going to go fix that. Yes, please. You're curious how the AI stuff will affect Scrum and storyboards where developers allocate how long something will take to complete? I think that adjustment is happening now, where we're seeing folks figuring out how long it takes, how to set up and build context for the AI agents, the AI tools. And as we get into using agents and sub-agents and delegating and using many agents at once to complete a task, that's going to dramatically speed up things. However, I also recognize that on the other side of this, folks are going to look at the problem and say, well, wait a sec. I'm spending a lot of money on tokens for something that I should be able to do myself. So, here it goes. So there's a balance. We're going to pivot way too far to the one side of using AI for everything. And then there's going to be a balance that comes back where, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much money on AI. And there'll be a middle ground that is found. But I suspect that that's going to swing back and forth wildly for the next few years. Managers, you bet, will demand more of developers by cutting estimates in half. That's going to be troublesome and going to create more problems. So, yeah, right. The AI is non-deterministic, so things will break. Now look, 18 tests failed, mostly due to other existing test expectation mismatches. Okay, then investigate the failing tests, comma, tell me why they're failing, and if and how we should repair them. You think even if AI can spit out something that appears to fix the problem, you still want a developer on top? Yes. And this is all GitHub Copilot. Yes. So, Git work trees. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Digital Drummer J with a question. Let's go to this. Any suggestions for a tool that can write a spec that you can pass to Copilot to have it take a first pass at writing an app? Turn on plan mode. There's a plan mode that you can activate, right, inside of Copilot. And you can tell it, I want to build XYZ. Have a discussion with it, and it will build out a to-do list with instructions for how to take those steps. and then you can tell it go and put it into agent mode and implement that plan. So it's kind of built in. It sounds weird to say old school, but I was doing something like plan mode before plan mode was introduced, where I would tell Copilot, I would discuss with it, hey, I want to build XYZ. Let's write a document about this design and figure out what the tasks are along the way. And I would have it build out that document. Okay, I want you to use this document and implement phase 1, phase 2, right? I would make sure that Copilot clearly had defined in that document, here's the various modules, phases, components that we're going to build, and have it step by step go through and implement. Frank!
Ushero's just resubscribed for 46 months. Best C# streamer in the universe. C# party.
Thank you. That's very kind. How you doing, Frank? So you can use Copilot to help Copilot, right? It sounds weird that the answer to AI is more AI, but because of the depth and the way that the Claude models will have more exploratory discussions with you, I would use Claude for planning, and then I would pivot and consider a GPT model to implement those plans. So, because GPT will go right to the point and deliver just that thing. So, thanks for the question. You found it to start with plan mode is the best way to do things. Make sure you have to ask it. Yep. Have a good one, C# Titan. Ooh, that's late. Plan mode has become your best friend. It allows you to one-shot vibe code apps. Yes. Yes. So, they do. They know themselves pretty well. Dog just wandered by. Let's open this back up. So, right. So, I did something plan mode-ish just now. I asked it to analyze and give me what's going on here. Our new catch-all pattern is being too aggressive and not filtering out invalid location terms. Okay. That's okay. And the from statement shouldn't include from. Currently living in Nashville returns living instead of Nashville. Residing in Philadelphia, where it should return Philadelphia. So, I think there's a key word in that we're missing. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Create a to-do list for the 3 different scenarios that you've identified. Period. I think the solution for scenario 2 is that we need to add the keyword in to the same catch-all as from in the regular expressions. Period. There's probably some additional cleanup there as well. Period. After you complete this task, let's come back to your to-do list and discuss next steps. Yeah, see what I did there? Banana the dog, that's right. He's laying down in my shower. Okay. I guess he likes the cold shower pan. So all right. Fix wrong group extraction in pattern. Yeah. My suggestion about adding in to catch-all patterns is spot on for this. Hey, look at that. Fix over-inclusive pattern matching cases like residing in. Should extract just Philadelphia, not the entire phrase. So, okay. Okay. Implement the fix we suggested for step 2 for item 2, right? For item 3, is this a second pass that that we could run against the identified? Identified location to improve accuracy. A second, not pass. A second check. Let's come back to item 1 after. Why Sonnet 4 and not Sonnet 4.5? It was the one that was selected. I can choose whatever, but it was the one that was selected. You're right. I could have chosen 4.5. Probably should have. Didn't. Ooh. There's some green gnats over here. Look at that. Can we fix that real quick? Right? That's not right. Yeah, that's better. But it's probably gonna get my... Yeah, it's gonna get my yellow cup now. Oh, darn it. How we doing there, Copilot? Test is still failing. So, yeah, why not use it, right? It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'm okay with using some of these. Like, that's okay. Oh, I forgot to tell Blue Sky that I was live. Like, there's a go live button now on Blue Sky, and where'd it go? Yeah, go live. There we go. Yeah, right. Twitch, TV, C#, Fritz. Right, like. I don't know. There we go. All right, now it's going to mark me as live on the Blue Sky. To anyone in the Midwest, it is going to be really cold, even here in the Mid-Atlantic states, and we're supposed to get almost 2 feet of snow. So it's going to be a cold, difficult weekend. You go over there. Proposed cleanup function. Clean extracted locations. Remove common prefixes. All right, so hang on. What do we got here? Item 2 implemented. Added a catch-all in pattern that captures locations like living and residing in. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Trims action words. Good. Knows the regex keeps the regex pattern simpler, allows for more flexible cleanup logic. So remove cleaned location. Sure. Apply your suggestion for item 3. Then let's run the tests again. And I'm typing versus dictating and back and forth. Yeah. Like, I really mean it when I say that dictating and using dictation to work with the, not just Copilot or Claude, but working with any of the AI tools, it helps significantly. It really does. Because you're not thinking about typing, you're just having that natural conversation with a person that's going to go do stuff. So, yeah, Scherer. I'm going to be in Vegas in March for VS Live. Right, anybody that's going to that event, folks that live in the area, maybe we can try and organize a meetup in one evening. You're in for -20 Fahrenheit wind chill in Colorado. Only 1 to 3 inches of the fluffy snow. But PC nerd, you've just got snow all the time in Colorado. Pennsylvania is going to get a lot of snow, yeah. And you're gonna get ice, Nalian? Ooh. It's going to be coming down pretty quick and for a few days. How are things in Montreal then? Like, I'm guessing you're getting your fair share of snow already. What do I use for dictation into Visual Studio Code? So VS Tree, there's a couple ways you can do this. And I'm gonna give a second here for some of these things some of my overlays to clear up here. There we go. There's an extension that you can install that will add a microphone here. There is a voice dictation extension you can add to GitHub Copilot Chat that adds a microphone. There are some folks that love that. If you're on an operating system that doesn't have native dictation, sure, go install that one. It's not my cup of tea because I like using Windows dictation. I have a hotkey wired up on my keyboard so that, and it's Windows H if you're on Windows, so that I can activate it, and I'll use that same dictation, not just in the Copilot chat box, but other places around the operating system, so that it's just secondhand. Oh, I'm going to dictate in this text box. Go. And it just works. So that's that. I just use Windows H, and it gets me in the box. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, Smirking Squiggly. Hello. We're doing some tweaking on Charlie right now. I'm not sure if it got you on the map, and it looks like Charlie is offline for a little bit while it's doing some repairs. Here. So did that finish restarting? Oop, no. No, it crashed hard. Let me restart that. Sharer says I'm doing exactly what they do for a lot of this now. Last job before being laid off didn't really want us to use any AI. Yeah, that's a mistake. They're gonna regret that one. So, now see that there's my cornbread that I cut so elegantly. All right, so I don't need that because it's running in another window. Oh no, we got you in the Netherlands. There we go. There we go, Smirking Squiggly. This is the worst year on the record for snow in Colorado. Ooh, snow levels are half of what they should be. Oh, that's not good. Chris Funk can't find windshield washer fluid that works below 32 freedom units. Well, I bet you can't in your part of the nation. There's a Rain-X that we'll get it's a yellow. It's like a yellowish orange Rain-X that has antifreeze in it so that it works at lower temperatures. So you don't like devices hear or see things if I can avoid it, says angry 4-year-old. Totally agree. So I'm with you on that, angry 4-year-old. So let me tell you what I do, right? Because I agree with you. I don't have dictation always turned on here. I have a hotkey that I have to hit to activate it, and it's Windows H, and I have a key on my keyboard that does it, and it opens this little thing. And on Windows, then it's listening to me when that microphone is clicked on. You can also turn it off by hitting Windows H again, and it turns off. So It sounds stupid to say, but that's how I control when Windows is listening to me. And I say it's stupid for me to say that because I know full well that I'm using this microphone and it's going through my audio setup and going back through this machine, the same machine you see me building with right here, and then being transmitted to you fine people. So there could be anything in between processing between this microphone, OBS, and it being transmitted to you, and it's listening to the whole thing going on over here. It's listening to me, but it's not listening to me. So when I'm not streaming Angry 4-Year-Old, I can control when the microphone is open and when it isn't, you know? I hope that helps. Oh. Okay. Do I have limits on voice mode in Copilot? No. You are in the same quotas that you already have. When you use the Windows or your operating system's native dictation, there is no quota on that at all. You can use this till you're blue in the face and talk about all the things that you want in any application, right? So I can keep talking about it, and it's gonna start writing things into Notepad, and it's an okay thing. It does the job for me. Enter. Say new line, and then it continues typing, and away we go. There's some macro words that you're supposed to be able to dictate, and it will listen and do those things for you. Period. New line. Sometimes when I dictate the word period, it doesn't actually place a period punctuation. Period. New line. See, and I think it might be the way that I pop my P's when I'm talking, and because I don't overpronounce the letter P, it sometimes misses when I say the word period. See? And once you start typing again, right? Once you touch the keyboard or you click somewhere with the mouse, the dictation ends immediately. So, see, and why didn't the Jarvis quote come through? Oh, I see why. Do that again. So, hey, Exceldro, how you doing there? So we should have a 2 in the Netherlands. No, see, it didn't place the 2. Yeah, it should have placed a 2, and it didn't. Oh, you know what? That's the next one that I was gonna. The next issue that I was gonna have Copilot look at was handling emotes after a location. So, drop a cap full of antifreeze into the windshield wiper fluid container. I have no experience with that, and I can't recommend that. That's up to you to try that. I cannot stand behind that one. So, yeah, why isn't it doing my quotes here? So, hey, bald bearded builder, hello. You know it's always listening even when you don't want it to be, like your phone.
I suggest a new strategy at Jenny's Q7. Let R2 handle the debugging. Or anyone really.
You know it's always listening even when you don't want it to be, like your phone. The operating systems, Windows, Mac, and Linux, are very clear when the microphone is on and is not. However, there are some folks that have written spyware and other things that shut off that detection so that you don't see it. So that you aren't getting that information. All legitimate software is properly using those privacy controls so that you do see it. So, I see they're smirking. Yes. Trying to watch the game here. Which game? Which game? What's going on? With Dragon, you set the amount of pause for punctuation and commands for it to register those correctly. There is an option, right? When I bring up, yes, I know. Wait time before acting and automatic punctuation. That should have been turned on. So, and then, right, I have a few microphones on this system. Yeah, that's a couple. So, yes, go away. I got it. What I hate about Windows is when I press function F4 to disable laptop microphone, and not all software honors that. There are a number of things that Teams does not honor in the operating system. I've been vocal about this on social media, and I've gotten in trouble for this on social media. There are a number of operating system features that Teams does not honor, and I don't like that. The Phone Link app is just as bad about not honoring, and particularly for the Phone Link app. I'm looking at the privacy stuff, and and the do not disturb stuff. Phone Link will break through that. Not cool. Teams will. There are some times that Teams will break through the do not disturb, and it's not entirely clear to me what makes that decision, but that happens. That's totally a thing that I've seen, and I've reported back to the Teams team as, no, when I tell you do not disturb, you need to honor that. So, but I don't think that's a Windows thing, Surly Dev. That's a Teams thing. I can give constructive feedback. They'd prefer I don't give constructive feedback in public. However, my perspective is if there are other folks already making those comments in public, there isn't anything wrong with me saying, you know what? You're right. This is a problem. And I've gotten in my fair share of problem with that. Pusto, hello. Good to see you there. All right, so let me go back over here to this remaining work. We still have 9 failing tests for false positives. From home, hello from the stream, on my experience. Good place, this place, friends should all be empty. Yeah, so let's get rid of this. Yes, let's address the item 1 over detection issues. Period. What do you suggest for ways that we can address this? Now, I had turned on the automatic punctuation, so that looked like it was doing better. Oh, really? Angry 4-year-old. I think it grabbed one for you there. Yeah, there you go, New Jersey. So it identified New Jersey, and of course Philly over there. But Exceldro, good to see you, friend. Dropped in and mentioned about, hey, I'm watching from the Netherlands, and it didn't plot. It's supposed to put a 2 next to the Netherlands, and it didn't. But I think it ran into, yeah, Netherlands. So right now we have, I believe we have 2 people that mentioned Netherlands. Exceldro, yeah. And Smirking Squiggly. So we should have a 2 next to the pin for the Netherlands. And, oh, there, oh, okay. Well, took a refresh, but there it is. So, no, it got you there. So, there, McNets. There we go. Right. So, I think there might be a refresh issue. I don't know. All right, what do we got here? Suggested solution. Enhance the invalid terms list. Add more obvious non-location words to catch phrases like place experience. Reject entire phrases that contain certain patterns or combinations. Some patterns need stricter validation than others. Yeah. Semantic structure validation. Check if the extracted text has the structure of a real location. Lengthen word count limits. Reject overly long extractions that are likely full sentences. Welcome in, Proshand. Hello. Yeah, got you on the map there. There you go. A combination approach focusing on expanding invalid terms, add contextual phrase rejection, improve pattern-specific validation.
I'm going to have to science the heck out of this problem, Fritz.
Yeah, I think you do.
Unlike you, I actually understand what science means.
Man.
Cake will follow.
Oh, well, okay. That's good. You know what? Do you mind if I cut the cake? I'm really good at cutting cake, Charlie. That sounds like a really good set of options. Period. Let's implement these and then run the tests again and see where we are. So, no, it wasn't cherry pie. That was cornbread. I made cornbread. I was saying earlier, I made cornbread in a cast iron pan, so it's a nice round pan, and I put the whole pan in the oven, so it cooks up nice and evenly the whole way around, right, on that nice cast iron, and I failed at slicing it evenly. I don't do pie charts. So I don't. It was awful. Literally, Mrs. C Sharp Fritz looks at it and goes, "Hey, what the heck?" I'm waiting for our friends from Cooking with Heat to just tear into me like, "What the hell are you doing, Fritz?" Like, sorry. Smirking Squiggly. Parts started arriving. Oh man, parts started arriving. Let me get on the other side of this. Remind me about that. Ooh, I got parts arriving. Didn't start assembling anything yet, but parts started arriving here, and I want to take a look. Yeah. I'm removing a couple of locations that are clearly wrong. Implement comprehensive solution. Here we go. 9 failing tests, only 2 failing now. Remaining issues. Democratic Republic of the Congo is getting truncated. Still being filtered out properly. Still not being filtered out properly. All right. Let me examine regex patterns. Issue is that the is being treated as a sentence indicator and causing issues. Likely the regex is stopping at a comma or other stop word. Let me check. Yeah. Oh, good. Well. The friends test case, visiting friends. Yeah. 135, 1 not working. All right, cool. CWH, that's right. Cooking, what the heck? Don't tell them that. Look, at least I didn't cut the cornbread into squares, okay? Like, I tried to cut it into wedges. I failed miserably, but I tried. And after it resolves this, then we'll look at the handling emotes and handling emotes after a location and trying to get it to step down on the name of a location and retry. I could have cut it like Tavern Pizza. Okay. Tavern Pizza, where it's cut in squares from a round pie. That's messed up right there. Like, I get it. You're creating more slices, more smaller slices, without creating these long wedges that you're going to put somebody's eye out with. Like, I get it. But it's still weird, man. Like, all right. By the way, my Cooking with Heat apron arrived yesterday? No, Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon it arrived. So I've got a cool black Cooking with Heat apron now. That's how you do it in Chicagoland. All right, we got it. We got the tests addressed. Fantastic. All right, good. Keep all those Johns. And I think we can check in some of those. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, commit those. Do that. I should go over to terminal. Let's go. What the heck? Fritz, Charlie, components. Go to that. What do we got? Sure. Add all those. Commit them. Adding more location handlers. Right. And push that out. I do have the 16-ounce pint glass. My daughter loves it. Like, that's her jam. So, why doesn't Outlook keep filters that you set? I've got a lot of questions about Outlook. And I don't know whether I'm using the new Outlook Classic, Outlook the next generation, Outlook Deep Space Nine, Outlook Voyager, Outlook Below Decks. I don't know which Outlook I'm using, but I know I'm using Outlook, but I don't know. I don't know which one it is. It lets me send email and it lets me get appointments, and that's all I need. Right? What is Outlook 5.0? I don't know. There was Outlook 97. That was a thing. I don't know. Like, as developers, we need to maintain version numbers and let folks know when things change, advance, and there's, right, an updated version of things. But the naming and changing and pushing things around and completely changing versioning numbers and schemes and chasing a version number, man, that's weird, and consumers don't get it. They get confused quick. Like what Mac OS am I using now? I don't know. It's one of the national parks. I don't know. Well, which national park is it? And is that national park more current than this other national park? Like, I don't know. Like, dude, stick with numbers and be done with it. Numbers are easy. Everybody understands numbers. No, electro. Okay, let's do another check here. We're not going to get into that or that. Yeah, Mom, I was working on ways that it can talk like Mom. Yeah, this one. Here we go. Next problem we need to address. Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the bot Charlie. You shut up. Sometimes when we're detecting locations, a Twitch emote or emoji character will get captured as part of the location and it confuses things. We should add second checks and a second or third loop through.
The universe is big. It's vast and complicated and ridiculous. And your code is all of those things except big.
Recommend some ways that we can properly detect and strip off Twitch emotes and standard emoji characters from locations so that we can geocode them or look them up in the cache properly. Dude, that was rough. You bringing through the doctor quote on me and telling me these things? Come on, man. Pusto, the Emperor is out there waiting with a quote for you. And it was, yeah, perfect timing for that quote. Thanks. Thanks. God. Right? Like, what are we doing here? Only match emotes and emojis at the end of the string, but emotes and emojis can appear anywhere within a location extraction. Right. Add multiple cleaning passes. Right. We need to use for Unicode code points. Okay. Okay. Like, I want you to be able to use emotes when you're sharing your location here. Drop the. Now I sound like what's his name from the Social Network. Lose the. Just Facebook. It's brilliant. We're going to give him 10% of the company because he dropped the.
I have foreseen your next 3 errors, Fritz.
Yeah?
Shall I reveal them or do you prefer surprises?
I like surprises. Good, no compilation error. That's right. But, like, you're forcing me to restart the app. Yes, restart the app. Do it. Execute them. Thanks for the content plan. Copilot plan recommendation, doing it from the CLI. It's working great. Yeah. And the other thing, Digital Drummer J, right? Now you've also got a document that, right? A markdown document that us as humans can review before we set Copilot on going and implementing it. I also, another trick I like to do is tell Copilot to use checklists in that document, and that it owns that document and it can use that. So McNet's the question earlier was how can you use Copilot and generate some sort of a design document or plan for it to follow? And there's 2 ways that you can do it in Copilot. There's plan mode, and like as I was just describing, you can tell Copilot, create a design document, create some sort of a feature specification document with checklists in it, and go implement from that file, and tell Copilot, use this file as a definition of the things that I'm working on, and it will chunk through and work through it. So excellent progress. We're down to just 1 failing test. Part of me wants to tell Copilot that it should be respond to me like an evil, snidely whiplash villain. because why not? So Copilot instructions is good for giving that overall set of directions, and I could put that direction about Snidely Whiplash in Copilot instructions. But also creating a set of other documents that describe features that you're implementing works out really nice. You broke something? There we go. Test passed. Good. So, right. Hey, Slow Tree, do I have an Agents MD? I do not. Agents MD is basically the same thing as the Copilot instructions file. These are various competing standards for the AI CLI tools. That's for the artificial intelligence, for the large language model command line tools. And Agents is a little bit more well shared across the various tools. I've been working with Copilot, and Copilot instructions is the one that I prefer right now. I'll probably end up migrating to Agents at some point. So, how many MD files does it take to work with Copilot? Oh, too many. Let's see. What do we got here? Let me read this and I'll show you what we got.
I know I've made some very poor decisions recently, but I can give you my complete assurance that my work will be back to normal.
Good. You do that, Charlie. I'll be watching. Let's see. Added 14 test cases, including various emote scenarios from LUL, easy clap emotes in the middle of locations. Nice. Cleaner geocoding, locations like Seattle LUL, go to Seattle. Just keyword Seattle. Handles New York easy clap PogChamp. Nice. Mixed content properly separates locations from chat culture expressions. All right. And that's all. Really, you're going to restart again and do that whole smash. All right. How does it know it's an emote, though? Hey, M. Pulowski.
Paulowski just resubscribed for 68 months. Welcome back, Fritz.
Thank you.
Wave.
I really appreciate the resub. 68 months with us. Wow. Thank you so much for that support. Here we go. Let's talk about this, and then I'll show you. I'll go grab some of the parts for the cyber deck that I'm building, and we'll talk about that a little bit and jump into the next fix that I want to address here. Only knows about emotes. I manually added new emotes, channel-specific emotes, and trending emotes are missed. Pattern-based heuristics. So it's a lowercase, uppercase. Yeah, camel case. But many real words match this pattern. Many real emotes don't. And then the Unicode emoji. Channel-specific emotes like C# gritty. Better than TV. Frankenfaces. I forget what 7TV is. But the third-party extensions don't have it. New trending emotes. Typos, variations. Yeah. Context-dependent text. Better approaches. Twitter API integration. That's not bad. Hey, Pellin. Furry Creek, British Columbia. Is that a thing? I guess so. All right. Nope, that's the other project. This one. Machine learning approach. Train on Twitch chat logs to identify emote patterns. Context-aware detection. What about an approach that instead of trying to detect and find emotes, we start dropping words from the end of a detected location? In this way, your first example would try Seattle, I can't, and then, since it doesn't find that location, drops I can't and searches for just Seattle. Okay, we got some problems here in your typing. We start dropping words from the end of a detected location. In this way, your first example would try, right, okay, yeah, like that. And then since it can't find that location, drops for just Seattle. See what we think there. No Jonatron in Linwood, Washington. While that's working, we can pop back over here. Look at that. There we go. Some friends on the West Coast. How you doing? Slowtree says having the agent add an entry to the changelog for each change gives the agent long-term context. Yes. Yes. And Slowtree, that's why I like to put those types of things in a docs folder, so that I can dial in that changelog for that project as need be, right? Only include that as we're working on that part of the project. So, excuse me. It's a brilliant approach. I must be talking to Claude, because Claude with the word brilliant is just ridiculous. So like here we go. So in the Charlie repository, I've got all these docs. Like the hat analysis feature. Like I talked to Copilot for a while in agent mode and generated this document and edited it and tweaked and tuned it. And it's really long here. And there's all kinds of ideas that we had, and this is nowhere near all implemented. So, here we go. Like, how I worked on the quote feature and how I organized it. Like, yes, this is what I want you to do. And then I told it, go implement this. What else? Yeah, here, this is a good example of a task list I gave it. The animation cooldowns, which I still don't really use. I told it, here's the problem, and it generated this document. I said, okay, let's talk about what fixes you have, and it put together a list of benefits and went and implemented that and said, okay, here's the changes that I made. Good. Save that off. Now I have that as a reference, and at some point I'll delete that because I don't need that anymore. Like, that's done and done. What do we got here? So what's it suggesting? This is much more robust and self-correcting. So this progressive truncation, extract, Seattle, I can't, try geocoding that, it fails. Drop it, try Seattle, succeeds. Yeah. Is there a combination approach that we can take where maybe we look up in the cache the first segments of a multi-word location that's detected and see if we can find that? Or something similar, so that we can get a response faster when there is a multi-word location detected. before we go and hit the actual geocoder. Right, let's optimize this just a little bit. So, yes, Justice Eatle. Justice Eatle is little. It's a little known fact. That's where the Super Friends hang out. Is in Justice Eatle. Oh, I'm terrible. Thanks, DGen1. Thanks. Fritz talking to Copilot to generate documents reminds you of Bubba listing all the ways to cook shrimp. Oh, let's do that. Smart optimization, use cache first, progressive truncation. Gives you the best of both worlds. For Seattle, I can't. That misses. So cache lookup Seattle, return Seattle. No geocoder API. Cache lookup on New York City Kappa, New York City, go. For completely unknown location, small town USA, misses on cache, misses on small town, hits the geocoder, fails that, but finds that. Yeah. Extend location text service with cache parameter. Validated location service. I already have a cache. I already have a cache implemented with the nominatum geocoder. Let's use that structure and introduce this progressive truncation strategy. Go. Today appears to be a developer support day. Today? Oh. It's been busy. All right. All right. AI is magic that works, right? Remember, right? What's the quote that any sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic? Wouldn't that fail with things like Melbourne, Canada versus Australia? It would search Melbourne, Canada first, and if it didn't find it, peel back to just Melbourne. Hey, Mythin, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. You think it's amazing? Pusto, you like the way I work with it? Thank you. Hey, Jens.
Jens Woes just resubscribed for 50 months. Hey Fritz, thanks for creating great content.
Thank you.
You are magic at work, smile.
I really appreciate that. Seriously, I'm flattered that that you enjoy the content, that this lands with you. I've got to tell you, like, I'm used to being home and it's me, it's Mrs. C Sharp Fritz, it's our friends, neighbors, the kids, and like they don't see and have this interaction with me, right? I'm dad. I'm the guy that's shoveling the driveway and taking the trash down to the curb and whatnot. And when I went to the AI tour event yesterday in New York City, there's like this switch that happens where I need to be on, right? And it happens when I sit in this chair and I press the go live button, and I appreciate that I'm on and I'm tech personality Jeff Fritz versus dad, the guy who needs to take the dog for a walk around the block. And when I went to the conference center yesterday, I always say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you're somebody that watches the stream, if you're somebody that's watching the YouTube recording, hello out there recording people. Let me know how things are going in the future. Because you're watching this from the future, and I'm just here in 2026 having a good time. So I'd like to know who's going to win the Super Bowl. If you could tell me that. Who's going to win Super Bowl 60? Let me know. I'd like to place a bet. Anyways, but please, come, say hello, introduce yourself if you see me at an event. And I wasn't ready to be walking into the convention center yesterday and being on and being public personality Jeff Fritz. And I was so flattered and thrilled, and it took me back. I was a little taken aback by the first few people that said, "Oh my gosh, I recognized your voice," and then I turned around and saw, I've watched your YouTube videos, I've seen your streams, and what have you, and folks asking for selfies. Totally cool, absolutely. Please do ask that. I am not going to say no unless there's somewhere I need to be or there's something else going on. But if I have time, I absolutely will stop and say hello and talk to you, and I want to meet you and say thank you. It's something that I need to recognize, that I was going into a venue, into a place where, okay, there's folks here that I need to switch on and be in public persona mode, and then there's the weird transition when I come home and I gotta go walk the dog. But wait a sec, I was just like, it's this mental thing that happens, and it's an interesting thing that happens with folks that are in this space, working as somewhat recognizable personalities. Hang on. Bald Bearded Builder and I have not met in person. My friend, let me tell you, when I do get a chance to connect with you, I think there's going to be between the two of us a big old bear hug, because damn, we've known each other for a long time now. We've done some great things together. I think there's it's going to be a fantastic meetup when we do finally connect in person. Say, Robert Tables is the same way. Dear Lord, I've been talking and hanging out with that guy forever. So, yeah. Ice Cream Stick Model says, when creating unit tests with Copilot, would it be a good improvement if Copilot also automatically ran those created tests? So add that to your Copilot instructions, and it will. Yeah. So, like, this should have done that. Progressive truncation algorithm. So old approach, 200 milliseconds. It's going to take 1 millisecond on the cache hit. Nice. So integration points. The approach eliminates the need for complex emote detection. Cool. So run the tests. Hit it. Do the thing. I am a big old softy. You better believe it. There we go. 150 still working. Real celebrities have dog walkers, right? I like to call them my kids, but they moved out, so now I got to do it. How you doing there? Is it wow, Palanaminus? Let me know how you pronounce your how you want me to pronounce your screen name. You're starting a full semester of C# on .NET. Congratulations, you've chosen wisely. Any tips on where to get some practice in before the semester starts? What do you know so far? Let's start there. How are you coming in fresh? Haven't seen this before? There's a couple different things that I could recommend. Why does running keep restart this? That shouldn't restart it. It's already, yeah, no changes to apply. Like, you shouldn't have done that. You know, I tell you. And let me go back over to the map. I bet that's grayed out too. Go ahead. There we go. Look at the map. And there's, look, bald bearded builder all by himself. So, wait, yeah, Palinamnus. Let me know. You saw a post on socials the other day about a guy giving his teenage daughter who was preparing for a school show guitar playing tips, and she said to him, "What do you know?" I've seen this, Surly Dev. What do you know about performing? And it was Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. Oh, what do you know about playing guitar? Like, okay, have you seen the platinum albums hanging up? So, right, like, I don't have enough subscribers for the silver YouTube award yet. I'm only at like 13,009 only. I'm like 13% there. Like I've got to work on that. And I've got some YouTube videos that we're going to be recording here. But like that cred, yeah, the kids just don't get. The MVP sweatshirt means nothing to them. Like, all right, whatever. Locally before the CI/CD pipeline. Yes, you can tell it. Hey, you should be running after you make changes to the tests. Always run the unit tests. Yeah, that's absolutely something that you can put into the mix here. Let's commit this, John, because I think that's better. Where are we at over here? Check this one, and then we'll emote cleaning test. Fantastic. Add all of those. Now cleaning emotes.
My sensors indicate your stress levels are rising.
No, I'm all right.
Might I suggest a debugging approach that doesn't involve random code deletion?
Dude, I'm not randomly deleting code, Charlie. It's all good. It's all good. Oh my gosh, Kuopio, Finland. Let's see, we should have somewhere. We only have a Matra. So what do we got down here? Do ice cream stick model. I wonder if it hit while you were, if it was restarting when you sent that. Location set, ice cream stick model. Yep, there we go. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. There we go.
I don't want to go to production with this code. It's not ready for its.
It's close.
It's really not ready.
No, it's working fine. Look, it did the thing here. I'm okay with that. Yeah, Mike Shinoda. There we go. Your agents do run the tests automatically because you put it in your instructions. There you go, slow tree. Right. I don't have it in mind. I probably should. You've only had C++ before. Was a pain in the you know what. Pronunciation was close enough. Yeah. Okay. So that was the first issue. That was just the first issue, trying to clean up some of the location detection stuff. Let's move on to something else more interesting. No, you can go away. Same with you. So that was just the first thing, right? Was these locations. Locations sent at the same time. The C# learning course on Free Code Camp, we helped build. So my team at work, we helped build that, and it's pretty good to get started. And it's free, so yeah, check it out. So let's. The location text service is just ridiculously sized now. Part of me wonders if there's some simplification we can do. Not going to get into it. The next problem that I have is that when multiple locations arrive at the same time, or within a second or two of each other from chat, something happens and they don't all get pushed to the user interface properly, period. The map doesn't update with subsequent locations. I'd really like the locations to get pushed to the map user interface, placed in a queue in the browser memory, and do the in-browser navigation and animation to each subsequent location to empty out the queue with an appropriate pause in between those. Can you investigate this? Now, I think I also need to put the map, right? Can we get the dictation doodad out of the way here? It's like, I think it's this one. Sure, let's use that one. Right, like, right, overlay map. No, not overlap. Overlay map, yeah, that one. So, figure it out. It is .NET. Yep. You did the free Code Camp C# course and thought it was pretty good. Well, good. I'm glad you liked it. I was working on C# in the cards for a while. At some point, I'll go back and add more content to that. Yeah. You're going to see me talk a lot more about greenfield applications and upgrading, modernizing applications over the next year. That's a big focus that our team has, is helping folks modernize applications, get current and stay current, and then being able to choose and integrate and talk about AI features, talk about new advanced internet services that you can integrate with, UI metaphors that you can consider, devices you can deploy to. That's coming. You're going to see me talking about all those things. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. All right, so it's working through doing some of this analysis. Let me go grab those IoT parts and we can talk a little bit about that for a few seconds. Be right back. Where's the button? It's oh, this one. Oh my gosh. All right. Hi, Banana. Hello. Copilot is making some changes. We'll look at that in a minute. So I got some components. Now, I'm going to get the latest Pi 5, right? With 16 gig to go in this machine. So yep, the overlay weirdness because it's making changes to the overlay. Copilot is. See, look, weird. Like I can turn that off, can't I? You and you. Yeah, turn that one off too. Okay, so I've been designing and building because I've really gotten into this idea of IoT and build your own computer, soup to nuts, not just all the components, but build it with a weird 3D printed case. And my thought is, I don't just want a 3D printed case. I want a 3D printed case that's going to give me a developer's cockpit when I'm traveling. So I've been designing and building. Building's the wrong word. I've been designing and now ordering parts. Yeah, purple glitter, we can do that. I don't want to. But you better believe there's going to be RGB LEDs all over this thing. But I've been ordering parts, and some of them have arrived, that I'm going to put in place on it. Like, I want to put a touchpad embedded in the case. So, I've got a touchpad. 2 buttons. Not bad. Like, cost me all of $10. Like, okay, that's not bad at all. Like, it's a touchpad with a regular USB. I can make that work. Any interest in the Pi AI Hat 2? I haven't heard good things about that. Like, folks are saying you're better off delegating to a larger, more sophisticated model. Like, it's not as capable. Okay, I get it. That's a power adapter. You don't care about seeing a power adapter. This one's a cool one. This is the one. So this is the one that is going to make people go, what? And I was thrilled that I could find and do this. Where do you see this one? This is an e-ink display, like you have in a Kindle. I'm going to mount this on the outside of the lid for the device. Because then I can put a to-do list or a task list on this that persists after I close the device. Or I can put a checklist or an agenda on this, and the folks that are nearby or when I'm at my standing desk, you'll be able to see, here's the checklist, and it's coming from my machine, and I'm not using something else here. This is going to be just one of those, I didn't know you could do that things. Yeah, the Pi Hat 2 just added more RAM, and it's like, okay, so what? So I kind of like the e-ink display. I have a series of OLEDs and LCDs. Yeah, it's just like the price tags they have at Walmart, Kohl's, Best Buy has them as well. Yes. I have a series of OLEDs and LCDs coming next week. Finally, it can't be a laptop-like device without a screen. So I have a 7-inch touchscreen LCD. This is 800 by 480 pixel display, so that I can use, right? So I've got a screen inside the device. So not bad, right? iPhone for comparison, right? So good size. I'm looking forward to implementing that. And it's just a ribbon. There's a ribbon cable on this that you can use to connect. And that just slides right into the top of the Pi. There's an adapter on it. Real easy to do. Yes, a piece of paper does persist also. That's right, McNets. Yes. So those are the parts that I have so far. And my filament arrived. So I can start printing, like I can print the lid right now. Like, here it is. I spent time, I mentioned I spent time on Monday working on hinge design. Yeah. Because I got to figure out how to run these cables through the hinges so that the lid can open and close. I'm not planning to be purple glittered, however. It's going to be like matte gunmetal gray with translucent channels running through it. There's going to be a panel on the side that has C# Fritz cut out on it, and a translucent panel there with LEDs behind it, so I can RGB set how my name appears. I want that on the front, actually, facing the audience when I'm using this thing at an event, and I want to have it running for Vegas when I'm in Vegas. So, kind of Tron inspired, more Neuromancer Cyberdeck inspired. So, but the OLEDs on the sides, I'm going to put all kinds of metrics and things on there about build time and various things that are going on. Yeah. And I'm still building the Neon Link overlay speakers presentation tool. That's looking really good. So the Neon Mark I device and then the Neon Link application, these two are going to be tremendous together, and I'm going to be recording some details about how I've built them over the next week. Built is the wrong word. How I've designed and worked on them with Copilot, showing how I've generated CAD designs for what I'm going to 3D print. And then I'm actually going to start showing here I am assembling and going through the assembly process, and that'll happen through February. So there's other things we're going to be doing on stream in February. We're going to do a time machine ASMR book reading stream. It's probably going to be, I was thinking I could sneak it in before I head to Sweden. I might be able to do it tomorrow. That's going to be a 4 to 6 hour stream. Let me see about that. Yeah. There might be something I can do there this weekend. Mrs. C# Fritz is going to be joining us for a Lego assembly stream. That's coming up the second week, the first Friday in February after I get back from Sweden. I'm hosting the Best of .NET Conf live stream. We'll have some guests. We'll be over on the Visual Studio channel talking about all the cool things that were announced and that came out at .NET Conf back in November, summarizing that, getting folks up to speed. And then in February, we're going to do a competition live stream where we're going to have an hour for folks to write code, submit, and I'm going to figure out a prize to give away. A couple prizes to give away. And we'll have some fun with that. We're going to do a workshop on ASP.NET and Discord, and ASP.NET and Aspire, ASP.NET, Blazor, and Aspire. And I'm sure I'm missing something. Yeah. All of that planning coming up in February. It's going to be a blast. So tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets, tell your coworkers. We're going to have some fun here. All right. Let's head back over to see what Copilot did with that code. What do we got? Successfully implemented a comprehensive location queuing system to solve the problem of multiple locations arriving simultaneously and not all appearing on the map interface. Location queue system. Incoming locations are queued instead of processed immediately. Locations are handled one at a time with proper animations. Each location gets a zoom animation. Shorter delays for rapid bursts, normal delays for simple locations. Green status indicator shows queue progress. Failed locations don't break the queue processing. We're going to default 2.5 seconds with a configurable delay. When multiple locations arrive rapidly, they're added to a queue. Background task processes the queue. Each location gets added to the map. Users see a green status indicator showing processing progress. Adaptive delays. So all locations now appear smooth animations, queue visibility, and configurable timing. Yeah? No! Do we need to restart? I think we need to restart. Let's do a restart. A 3D printable mini rack. I love the idea of, yeah, little mini racks for a collection of Raspberry Pis or something. That's kind of cool. I just restarted Charlie. It's not running yet. So Gladys isn't going to respond. Come on, load that map. No. Back over here. That new configuration parameter isn't available according to the overlay map page. So, right.
Science has proven that your coding approach violates several laws of logic. Also, there's no cake in the break room.
Oh. I didn't know I had a break room. Yeah. See, there it goes. Like, really? Really? Oh, the bathroom. Oh. Hey, Bograt. Yes. We mentioned cake. Cake is good. Cake is your pal. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Who's here that I can drop their location and we can reset them? What the? There you go. Pick you? I don't think I have a location for you right now. No, I don't have a location in you. And it didn't pick up Aurora, Colorado. Looking at logs. Yeah, see, it didn't pick that up. Well, look at that. Failed to geocode. I'm in Aurora, Colorado. Why? Well, there it is trying to search. Yeah, see. That it picked up. Aurora, Illinois. But it's... Go back over to the... Right? View details of that. Why is it showing star? Like, I should see it processing... Yeah, those are from earlier. Okay. It's an anomaly. So let me do this. I'm going to bump I'm going to remove the Bograt's pin, and I'll remove Chris Funk's pin. So go ahead and try that again. Go ahead and share your locations again, real quick. And we should see it bounce around. It didn't pick up Aurora, Illinois. Failed to geocode that. There it goes. That should go away if there's nothing queued. There's Patty Boy. How you doing? Yeah, this isn't going away. All right, 1 second. Let's go back in here. Yeah, overlay map direct. The processing queue indicator in the top left continues to show after the counter goes to 0. Hey, glad to have you here, Patty Boy. I hope you're having a good one. No. Yeah, that one. No, that's all right. I'm now getting all kinds of Slack messages. Oh, boy. I'm going to turn into a Slack person, aren't I? Okay. And of course yeah. Everything goes gray. That's so annoying. Okay, let me clear out a couple of those, and we can try that bounce again. Yeah. So I'm gonna clear out Chris Funk. I will clear out Patty Boy. Right, there we go. And the Bog Rat. All right, go ahead. Fire away. You had Slack PTSD for a long time after a nightmare job? I believe it. There, it's queued. It didn't navigate. Did it actually add Glasgow, but not navigate? No. Or did it add it and not... Yeah, it added it, but didn't... Change your Slack notification job? Yeah. Yeah. Slack notification at your last job. Yeah. I feel that. Okay, let's take a look at how this is queuing. Because it's clearly in the list, but it didn't get into the queue. We got to move that out. I don't like that there. Where is it? On new location plotted. Should go here. even if you both hit it at the same time, that should be able to be multi-threaded. Like, add to the queue. Right, and then it should have written it to the console. So I should... I just want to see the web. I don't need to see the other nonsense. Yeah, Fritz Charlie Web. This one. Find that for me. Yeah, it added, look, it added Glasgow. Well, wait, 1497. It added it, but it didn't process it. So, there we go. We got Denver in. Yeah. I had 3 locations just arrive within the same 3 seconds, comma, and they were all added to the queue, but the middle location was not added to the map. Let's take a look at what might be causing this and ensure that all 3 locations get their time to navigate and animate in. Oh, those are arriving early. Within the same 3 seconds. And they were all added to the queue according to the log. Ooh. The middle location was not added to the map. Let's take a look at what might be causing this and ensure that all 3 locations... Yeah. It did go in first. Right? But when it added Elgin, it said queue size of 1, added Glasgow, and... that should have been... Well, Elgin was animating, so queue size is still 1. So that's telling me that it navigated. All right, what are you doing over here, Copilot? Race condition processing. Navigation timing. Last location handling. All right, now there's this weird blackout that Blazor's doing. All right, let's clear out those few locations. Do you mind testing again, friends? Reg, do you want to help test this? We're testing that it properly queues and paints them on the screen. That's not a bad... That's not a bad hypothesis. Give me a second here. Let's ask that. We have a check that if the screen is scrolling or moving, it doesn't process the animation. Is it possible that that is happening because we're animating into one location, that the queue then gets ignored and not processed? Greetings from the queue. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. And it did place an entry for Q, wherever that is. Where is that? Oh, dear Lord, it's outside Paris. That's outside Paris. I trust Billy to come up with weird locations on the map. My Lord. What do we got over here? That pauses processing. Let's modify the approach to work around this. Add markers first without zooming. Only zoom to the final location. No! No, I do want the zoom animations to occur for each location, period. Let's put some sort of a queue processing flag in so that while zoom animations are occurring, it knows that we're processing the queue and will allow additional features, additional locations to be added to the queue for additional animations, period. I want to make sure that we have a tour around the world to show all the great locations that are being added to the map. Yeah. In Q, France, tourists wait in line. They are... Oh, smirking squiggly. Oh. I get it. I get it. Oh, man. All right, restore. Fix that. Yeah. And I'm not going to click the keep button down here. That seems stupid. It's already modifying and reloading things. You see it blinking there. My macro buttons. My macro button switches are being delivered. Wait, it says my PCB terminals were delivered too. I have to take a look. I didn't see them. Yeah, but in the next few hours, my macro switches are going to arrive. Okay, let's... Really? You didn't add the queue processing active variable to the page. I can add that. Right? I already have is processing queue. No. Queue processing. That's not a thing on... The chatter map direct component doesn't have a queue processing active attribute. Then... Okay. All right. So let's go back over to the dashboard. I'm going to remove a couple locations. I'm going to remove Q. Let's go to Chris Funk. Where'd it go? Yeah. And the bog rat. There we go. Yeah, I removed the Q. Yep. All right, go ahead and try and submit your locations again. And let's see if it hits it. Deleting queue of SWAT. Wow. There's one. No. Oh, I didn't. Here, I'll clear out Patty Boy. There we go. I'll clean out mine also. Is that a place? There it goes. I don't think it found Hump Tulips, Washington. It didn't even try and find it. You know what? Because I think I've already got a location for you. I do. Let me try those again. I'm going to clear out Patty Boy. I'm going to clear out my location. The Bog Rat, I'll clear out yours. All right, go ahead. Let's fire in our locations again. All right. Go ahead and send them. One location queued. There we go. Didn't show the nameplate there. Didn't show the nameplate on that one. But it animated to them. We're getting there. I'm going to run a keep on that now. And yes, everything goes gray. Because I don't want to lose that point. All right. We're almost there. The animations are working, period. I want to make sure that each animation has the same 2.8 seconds that we pause at each location, period. And I also want to make sure that the pop-up appears with the location information that normally appears when we go to each location. Come on. Because I have no idea where it wrote this. Like, go find it. Right? Like, it's somewhere down in here it did something. Like, processing location queue. Like, right? Yeah. Give each location a full 2.8 seconds. And then state has changed. And then it should hit the next item in the queue. Okay? Oh, I did it again. And I did a... whatever. Fine. Fine. That's... Alright, you want to try this again, friends? 2.9 seconds. I did the math. I did the math. Billy Cool is at the airport. I see what you did there. Take out the Bog Rat. I'll take out Patty Boy. There it is. Alright, let's try this again. Go ahead, fire your locations. And it didn't show my location name. It's going to the locations. I'm going to force a restart, but I think I'm going to call that good enough for right now. And commit these changes. Yeah. Automatic via enable pin announcements. Enable pin announcements. Yeah. That's the only place that it's... Okay. Chatter map direct. If enable pin announcements end is new marker. Thank you. I'm glad you like the hat. Yeah. Belgrade. We should have seen that pop up. How you doing there? Too much hassle? No, it didn't pick it up. That's one it should have. No, it didn't even look for it. Try it again. Too much hassle. That should absolutely get picked up and shown on the map. Go ahead and send the exact same chat message again. I'm wondering if you landed while I was in the middle of that refresh, rebuild, and it just didn't pick it up. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. All right. We got you on the map. Okay. So I think we've got those last couple issues there. Yeah. Unable to find the location, unable to find location. Exact same chat message again. You're mocking me. There we go. Look at that. So 2 folks in just Netherlands, and is it Zoetermeer? I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. But fantastic. All right. This was a bunch of good fixes to put in here. So, Sweet Lake City? Is that... No. Hey, Fuel Snable. I'll zoom out a smidge. Maybe while I'm scrolling it, it should put locations in the queue. You know? That could be a thing. That's not terrible, right? You're enjoying the Chatter Map project? I need to figure out a way to make this public so that public's the wrong word. I need to figure out a way to expose a mirror of this running on my machine so that you can see it and poke around it and yeah, enjoy the kind of browsing around and seeing. Like, it's kind of weird that I can do this, and I'm kind of like, now what? Like, all right. And the tour is still needs a little bit of help in identifying the groups here. It calls that Central North America, but it should call it like Pacific Northwest. You know? And Central Europe, that was like, give me Scandinavia. You know? Like, that's not Central Europe. That's Eastern Europe that it showed. Austin, Texas, okay. But, right? That's Western Europe, okay. Eastern North America, but it's a heck of a lot more than just Eastern North America there. Barcelona? There we go. And see, back to this group. Like, we can do a better job with some of the clustering, I think. So. But I got to figure out a way to make this. Let's do that. Can I open another terminal? I can. Let's come here. What are you whining about? Let's back up here. Let's try the command line, see what we get on this. Yeah, you can do that. So, oh, hang on. Let's merge that. That's been dangling out there for way too long. Hang on. GitHub, C# Fritz dot. No. Right? Yeah. All kinds of map improvements for larger chat room. There we go. Right, like there's so much going on in there. Yeah, I know. Squash and merge, it's fine. Cool. All right. Back over here. Not. Git checkout main. Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, it's going to be grumpy here for a second. It's going to be really grumpy for a second. Yeah. Get that thing built. Let's go. All right. Ooh. All right. Try this again. Copilot. All right. What do we have as my models that are available? I'm going to use Opus. We have this really cool map component as part of the Charlie project. I want to expose a mirror of this web page somewhere on the public internet so that folks can interact with it, explore, browse around, and see when new entries are added to the map. What do you suggest as a way for us to create a simple mirror that we can push locations to from Charlie running locally on my machine so that other folks can see the map? I have a feeling we're going to want to do something like a static website, an Azure static website that's running with a SignalR hub out there that we push a message into. Something like that. Why are you grepping? Would be cool that the little pop-up showed the user info. I didn't initially add that, M. Pulowski, for a privacy concern. Hey, Enrique. add, Enrique on YouTube, add a little bit of a greeting before Peru. And actually, it may have added Peru. No, it didn't. Give me a little bit of a greeting, something that says I'm watching from Peru, and it will add to the map here automatically. Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that your participation, Enrique, that appears here on our map. So, fortunately, we can see through my terminal here. I think you're right, Patty Boy, because since I'm not using, there we go. We got Slow Tree added in there. I think you're right that there isn't a privacy concern because it is people sharing their own location with as much accuracy or inaccuracy as you would like. Right? And clearly, Chuck likes to say, I'm watching from Timbuktu. Joystick Nick likes to drop in and say, I'm watching from Mariana's Trench. Right? Like, and you're sharing a city or a state or even a nation, right? Some folks were saying, I'm watching from the Netherlands. Totally cool. You can share as much or as little information as you'd like, and you don't have to share anything at all. So, like, when you click on the pop-up, do we want to show the username on that? I think the announcement pop-up is okay. Maybe that one also. And then when we see 2 viewers, list the 2 viewers. Oh, there's some good ideas here that we can use to improve this. And I do enjoy coming back to this every now and again and tweaking, tuning, and improving. Let's see what Copilot suggests over here. A Cloudflare tunnel. Expose your local Charlie instance directly. Just run Cloudflare tunnel pointed at your local page. No code changes needed. I don't know. Static mirror with real-time push. Create a lightweight static site, GitHub pages for Cell Netlify, that hosts the map component, receives location updates via WebSocket or polling from a simple relay service. Charlie pushes new locations to a cloud relay, Azure SignalR or some other Azure Static Web Apps, and Azure SignalR. Everyone loves to see their name in lights. Have a good one, Patty Boy. Thanks so much for the feedback. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Static leaflet map to Azure Static Web Apps. Azure SignalR service for real-time updates. Endpoint in Charlie that pushes to the Azure SignalR service when locations are added. The public map subscribes to SignalR and renders markers in real time. Hey, Larry. So, Larry, here's the deal. When folks put some sort of a greeting in chat with their location as accurate or inaccurate as they'd like, it will place a pin on the map appropriate for for that location. And it'll actually zoom in to that location. You can see some of the other locations that folks have shared here. And I've got a little tour feature here that'll actually navigate around the map a little bit. Yeah, you've seen this? Okay. So, right, and there's... Right, and I can zoom out all the way and you see it starts to cluster some of those a little bit tighter. I think I'm going to want a map... I should have a map legend on this. Like, to put a little map legend in the corner here... That feels like a must-have. Right? We were talking about planning earlier. Let's do a little planning. Am I using GeoJSON? No. What's GeoJSON? There we go. There we go. How you doing, Samuel? So, Enrique, if you're still here on YouTube, you see how Samuel wrote, "Hey from Paducah"? That places it in there. Okay. I am writing JSON data into an array on my Redis cache and using that to manage the list that's presented here. So it's... So... Okay. It should have picked up the keyword in and geocoded that, and it ignored the statement because it didn't think that was a location. See, I wonder if I bounce that off of a mini model, a mini LLM model, if it would identify Nashville, Tennessee as a location. It needs to be a sentence that ends with "from some location," and it'll pick up, and we'll get a pin dropped here for you, Larry, on Nashville. That's a regular expression thing that I've been tweaking and tuning. There we go. There we go. Right, like if we take this, let's go back over to, yeah, there we go. Right, back into this, right, just to test. And let's make this like GPT-5 mini. That's a smaller model. Is there a location in this sentence? And if so, what is it? Right? See how long that's taking? Like, it found it, but it's too long. Right? If I were to do a similar, is there a location in this sentence? And if so, what is it? Mexico City, Mexico. If I were to run that against a local LLM in a mini model, and if it does find it, return and use that location as a last pass attempt for folks that don't have a location currently recorded. Let's see, then I'm going to back up on request to my local LLM. Right? Like, that used 2 references still. Why? Okay, I get Copilot instructions, but I don't want you using that. Right? That used 2 references and it still included it. I think there's a way we can do this. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Isn't there a copy on that? Whatever. We just stumbled right through this. Give me another Copilot instance. Hang on. We don't need to use Claude. Hang on, hang on. I'm going to use Codex Minis. Yeah. That's a 0x. Faster responses. Right? That's still taking too long. I've got an idea. There's a Copilot CLI SDK. I can actually hit Copilot to do these interactions, and with the 0x LLM, it's not going to cost me anything, and I'm getting GitHub Copilot answering and solving that for me, and it's not costing me a thing. I don't need to run another service locally. I don't need to run. I'm not going to be charged for it. What other models do we have in here that we can hit at zero cost that might come back really fast? Like if we hit GPT 4.1, right? Paste that same message, right? Like, that's good enough that as a last ditch, I don't want to do that for all of them, because if I can find a location, go. I don't want to replace the regex. But if we don't think there's a location... if the keyword... yeah, supplementary. If the keyword's in, from, at, with a sentence terminator are in there, and we can't find a location in that scenario, hit Copilot. Because I don't want to hit Copilot for everything. Because hitting Copilot for everything is going to create, for every message that comes through on chat, is just going to jam things up. Like, I can do that, but there's a speed trade-off there that I don't want. Let's try another model here and copy that text. What do we got? The GPT-5 Mini. Isn't that the one I just tried? Like, technically I can use any of these, because I have unlimited requests. And that's me as an employee. If I do GPT-5 Mini and we go with low, like, that should come back like that. But GPT 4.1 seems to hit it faster. Right? Yeah, I think a lot of folks would like to have unlimited requests. I'm an employee. I'm fortunate like that. So I need to wrap up, but let's just do a little bit of project planning for what we can do with this. Look, I changed that to GPT-5 Mini. Give me the Opus. Ooh, that's a big Opus. I'll take that Opus. I have a few features that I'd like to build out and add on to the map feature in this project. Let's outline a document with these new features and build out a checklist that you can use for planning and execution in the future. First, I'd like to be able to stand up a static copy of the map page somewhere on the public internet so that viewers can browse to the map and see the interactions live on their devices. Second, I'd like to introduce an interaction for the location resolution that will fail over to using the Copilot SDK to identify a location in a sentence. Based on my initial testing, I think we can use the GPT 4.1 model and get appropriate performance and accuracy. Let's talk about some other features that we can add to the map in this document that I want you to create and place in the docs folder. Was that Olama model I started the location searching with faster? I don't remember. I don't think it was much faster. But managing and manipulating strings like that should be faster. Different views of the map, like South Up, Pacific Centered. Oh, like macros to go to those macro buttons at the bottom to go to those different locations. What? And if that crunches again here, we'll try a different model. Hey, Jean Valjean. Hello? Yeah. Try a different model. Sonnet 4.5. Go. It did make an oopsie. You're right, Winifred. What? No. Do that again. Oh, I'm in ask mode? Oh, shoot. Do that. There we go. I also want to add a legend to the map. I know that Leaflet has a legend capability, so let's add our hat markers onto that, and in the future add other markers for other doodads, things. A legendary map. If it's a legendary map, it has an orange border. That's how you know it's legendary. If it's just purple, it's only epic. If a request to a model fails, do you still get charged the premium request? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Slow Tree got the joke. Actually, it's over there. Slow Tree got the joke. See, the chat's over there. Over there's my code. See, epic. There we go. Public static map viewer.
Your progress through this debugging session has been impressive.
Oh, thank you.
By impressive, I mean terrible, and by cake, I mean lies.
All right. I see what you've done here. DDoS protection via CDN? No, I don't care if it falls over. Rate limiting? Really? AI-powered location resolution fallback. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. I like that. Sample prompt templates. Extract the geographic location. Return only adjacent object with city, state, and country fields.
Oh, this is suicide.
What?
Your
No.
code has more dependencies than the Death Star has stormtroopers.
Wow. No. No. Historical location. Allow viewing a time-lapse replay of chat locations throughout a stream or across multiple streams. Location heat map. Location-based chat statistics. Custom location icons markers. That I can get behind. I already have location clustering. Search and filter locations. Share individual locations. I've already got that. I've already got that too. Globe view. Trigger map animations during stream events. Maybe. Okay. Let's remove things here that I don't like. So 1 and 2 I like. I actually already have this somewhere, so I don't need that. Heat map visualization. Yeah, okay. Location-based chat statistics, yes. Custom location icons markers. I can see that being a subscriber feature. But even then, how much are folks going to use it? I don't know. Location clustering for dense areas, we already have that. Search and filter locations. Okay. Share individual locations. We already, that's the whole offline map mode cache. I have that. Globe view, not interested. I've added and tweaked a couple of the features that you suggested based on my own interests. I'd also like to add a legend to the bottom left corner of the map that indicates what each of the pins signify, as well as the clustering indicators. Wow. Oh, it put me on, yeah, Sonnet 4.5, and we're... You've added legend to the document. Yeah? Where? You'll add a new feature. Okay. Sure. And I'll work through and share with you how this works. There we go. So, feature 9, map legend component. Yeah. There we go. Bottom left corner with a 20 pixel margin. This feels like something like it can... I can probably get that built like right now. Yeah. I'd like to improve the continent and country identification when the tour runs. I frequently see it zoom in on Eastern United States, and it refers to it as Eastern North America. I'd also like to improve the group selection for the tour algorithm so that we can group and present and navigate in more interesting ways with more appropriate labels for those locations. A great example that happened today is that we had 2 pins in Finland, and the tour navigated there and showed a label of Northern Europe. I think that's a good one, right?
I don't do mercy, and neither does your runtime.
Ooh. Ooh. What if I were to have Charlie's statements pop up on that e-ink paper I was showing you? So, Winifred, here's the thing. With Copilot, each request is what you get charged for. And even then, you don't get charged for some of the models. Like, if you send that into GPT-4o, you're not going to get charged. So, driving out these discussions, right, works out nicely, and then hand it off to a very compute-focused model that's just going to hammer away and deliver those. City, region, country, continent, intelligence, distance, base thresholds for determining appropriate labels, country boundary detection to avoid vague continental labels, cultural region support. There we go. I mentioned that briefly. Scandinavia. Yeah. Intitech. Hello. Welcome. Cultural region support. Yeah, small grouping that respects political and cultural boundaries. Yes. We'll show Pennsylvania instead of Eastern North America. Okay. 2 pins in Finland will show Finland. So if it's a single city, show that. Multiple cities in the same country. Neighboring small countries only use continental labels when truly spanning diverse countries. Yeah. I'd also like the tour to group more pins together that are in a similar location and visible at an appropriate zoom level. For example, we have some folks in Colorado today and a pin in Las Vegas. We saw two tour stops for Colorado and Las Vegas, where for the zoom level the map was at, it really should have been one tour stop and described as Western United States. So, how you doing there, Into Tech? Welcome. I appreciate you joining us today. We're nearing the end of my stream here, and we're wrapping up by generating a little bit of a feature planning document for this map feature that I've been showing off building and using, so that when folks report their location, share their location in chat, it drops a little pin, in my case a hat for this channel, at various locations around the world, and I have this tour feature that navigates around and shows some of those locations. Yeah, we're wrapping up our TPS reports. So, this is Blazor. That's right, Winifred. Yep. Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia. Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, right, that was just Finland, and it said Central Europe. That, right, it was 2 pins in Finland. Tell me Finland, right? Central Europe, okay, but we actually saw more of Europe. We could have shifted the window a little bit and just said Europe, you know? Like Western Europe, but we're seeing a lot of stuff there. So we need to work on the grouping algorithm compared to the zoom level of our component here, right? Eastern North America, 6 viewers, but there's clearly more than 6. Scandinavia? Ooh. Right, and went back to Eastern North America for our folks that we have in the Northeast United States. And then back out. So, zoom-aware visual grouping, viewport-based clustering, group pins that would be visible together at the appropriate zoom level. Zoom distance correlation, there we go. Tour stop consolidation algorithm, 4-pass system to eliminate redundant stops and choose appropriate regional labels. I like that. U.S. regional aggregation, specific regions including Western U.S. Smart duration scaling, longer stops for groups with more pins. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's why I chose Claude for this, because I didn't talk about this and it kind of deduced we wanted something like that. 22 tour stops for Colorado and Las Vegas. 1 consolidated stop labeled Western United States at zoom level 6 for about 14 seconds, showing all 22 pins simultaneously. 14's long. This is a little bit of spec-driven agentic coding. Yeah, that's right, Winifred. I would describe it like that. Yep. In your example, I think 14 seconds is a little bit long. And we should probably cap a location in the tour at about 6 or 7 seconds. Because then it gets a little bit long and that makes the tour draw on way too long. I do like building this map. It's been fun. Do we need some algorithm to do the shortest path through the tour, or is it fine? So it does, it has all the latitudes and longitudes for the various locations. So what it tries to do is draw a circle and group together various locations that are within a certain distance of each other. So it's not a great algorithm. Maybe we should tell it to write an algorithm. Do you know of an algorithm, or can you help write an algorithm to improve the pin grouping strategy for the tour? Right? And when I talk about have a discussion to drive out the features and requirements, this, what you see me doing right now, is what I'm suggesting. I don't know. DGen 1 made a great point there. You know what? The grouping might not look great here. And then we want to figure out the thing about the tour that right, the tour feature you saw me go through. I don't want the tour to go Western United States, Eastern United States, Western Europe, Northern Europe, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, Western Africa, Eastern Asia, Australia, South America. I don't want it to draw a clean line. I like it doing the back and forth between different locations. That helps the map component refresh a little bit better. And it also, it makes it feel like there's a lot more size to the audience because it's bouncing back and forth. So, I've added a comprehensive proposed algorithm. Holy smokes! Hierarchical geographic clustering. Use modified dbScan to build clusters at different zoom levels. Zoom level viewport grouping calculates optimal zoom for each cluster and only creates tour stops that makes visual sense. Generates appropriate labels, city, region, country, or cultural region based on pin distribution. I wonder if that's another one where Copilot can help us, right? Like if we were to give Copilot, where to go? Where's the map? If we were to give Copilot, right, these 4 locations that are visible and say, give me a geographic description of the region that these groups are presented in. Yeah. Orders stops by continent, then nearest neighbor to minimize jumping around. No, I want max jumping around. Handles up to 1,000 pins sub-second. Nice. I actually like the jumping around back and forth between continents of the tour. Let's keep that. I do want to make sure that all pinned locations are included in the tour. If a pin is not included in the tour, then that's an error. That's a failure. I also want to make sure that we consider some way to calculate those smart labels for the region that's being displayed. Maybe we can use the Copilot SDK again, along with one of the models that's available from GitHub Copilot, to pass in a collection of locations and generate a appropriate regional descriptor for that collection of locations. Once you start talking to an AI, you'll never talk to coworkers again, right? Who needs to talk to people when Copilot's going to help you out? No, talk to people. Dear Lord. Yes, talk to people. So I think that addresses your suggestion, Bograt. Hey, don't skip a tour stop. I want to make sure that all the stops are landed on. But I think getting a little bit of help from Copilot to render those. Yeah, and you can talk to people while the agent's doing its thing, right? Now, I need to figure out how to delegate some of this work to multiple agents. I haven't done that yet. But in this document that we've been slowly generating here, right? Like, I don't like that. Like, like, look, here's the algorithm it's suggesting. Like, holy smokes. Like, I want to bust up these couple of tasks that are here. And have a couple agents go do it all at once. I want to be the project manager that has identified, described how the features should work, and let's go through and stitch these together. And then come back and write any code as need be to clean stuff up. I need a middle management agent. Validate tour completeness function. Verifies every pin included in the tour. Throws exception with details if any pins are missing. Lists specific missing locations for debugging. Yes. Either random shuffle or weighted random selection that favors distant locations, creating interesting jumps. That's what I want. I want the jump between continents to be interesting. AI-powered label generation. Added AI label generator class that uses Copilot SDK with GPT-4.1. Collection of locations. Generates contextually appropriate regional labels. Caches results for 30 days. You could probably cache it for a week. Pins in Finland generates Finland, not Northern Europe. Yeah. So, yeah. And there was also this suggestion. I also want to add a feature that includes the chatters' names that shared their location in both the announcement pop-up and in the modal pop-up when you click on a location. We need to be able to handle in the location pop-up when folks have different types of pins, both a Twitch pin and a YouTube pin, Twitch pin and a moderator pin, different combinations of the various pins that we have available. Can Copilot spawn subagents? Yes. Check this out. Where is it? What? There we go. Delegate. Delegate changes to remote repository with AI generated pull request. So that will delegate and run it on another agent out on GitHub. Right? Slash help. Yeah. Yeah. Manage skills for enhanced capabilities, terminal setup. So the GitHub CLI is really good at doing more than just writing code. And I want to make sure that you hear that and you see this. It's something that we're trying to spread the message of, because the GitHub CLI has been available for almost 5 months. And folks act like it's not a thing, that you can't use this. But this is available and works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And you don't have to use it for just GitHub things. Right? Like, you use Claude Code? Yeah. But you already have the GitHub CLI and it's free. Like, use it. I'm on GPT 4.1. Let's change model again. No. Yeah, let's change model. Give me GPT 5.2. I want thorough reasoning. Charlie is a really impressive bot, and I'd like to create a 3D model that represents him. Generate a CAD plot for a Charlie the Bot model. I want you to be innovative about this, and I want you to make sure that it will fit on my FlashForge AD5X 3D printer. Suggest filament colors that we can use to print the Charlie bot. No, it's FlashForge AD5X 3D printer. Watch this. Can you tell it to break that feature document into independent tests and delegate those? Yes. Yes, you can. And it will. But this is the kind of thing that I want to make sure that you see we can do that's absolutely crazy here. Save the script below as CharlieBot SCAD, open in OpenSCAD, render, blah, 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 blah. No, you write it to the file. And I think I have OpenSCAD here. No, I don't have it installed. Fine, install it. Right? No, not Mac OS. Do that one. You suck. Copy that file to this directory. Yes. Good. And we're... Yep, you can install that. Use CLI tools for other things than code, such as docs and code reviews? Yes. Yes. Right? Successfully installed? Yeah? You think so? Open. There we go. Let's see what it made. That is stupid. But it built it, right? That bot you designed is stupid, period. I want to make sure that we have something that has a little bit of personality, a little bit of panache, a little bit of sass. Give me something that looks a little bit rounder and maybe even feels or is inspired by Marvin the Martian. I could give it a screenshot. Yes. I could absolutely do that. Where do I have one locally? It's in my live stream documents. What? Create new file? Sure, do that. Here. Images. No, that's not it. That's a good one. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, do your thing. Matte black, dark gray, bright red, bright green, translucent, lucent green. All right. What do we have? Charlie Bot Mars. Where? What the heck is that? No. I've got a better idea. Let's generate a 3D model for Charlie based on the bot in this image. At C# Fritz, there it is. And we'll see what we get there. How you doing there? Zeka Geo. Can you use the GitHub CLI for other requests besides coding related stuff? Yeah. Sure. Right? No, I didn't want to cancel that. Oh, darn it. GPT-5.2. What are the most popular rides at Disneyland? Darn it. Now, I'm using GPT-5.2 with...
Your code compiles, but at what cost?
Oh. So, there we go. Right? Like... yeah, go ahead. Whoa! That's better. Reading it, extracting image proportions. Yeah, go, do that thing. Watching coding stream has inspired you to use AI to create alternative Windows alerts. Dude, that's a great idea. Sure. Is this running in WSL or PowerShell? This is in PowerShell. You can run it in WSL if you'd like. There is a Linux version of this. It's actually installed with npm or winget right now. So yeah, you saw I asked it a question about Disneyland, and right, it's got a decent response. We could debate the accuracy of it. Like, what lands are currently in the Epcot World Showcase, and what do you recommend they add as a next land, right? And yes, Jigsaw showed up and gave us a quote. Right, so there's lots of opportunity here. And I do have this one tuned up to maximum thinking, right? 11 country pavilions: Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Italy, the American Adventure, Japan, Morocco, France, United Kingdom, and Canada. Actually, I think that's in the right order, going left to right around. My pick for the next full pavilion would be Brazil. It's a major missing region with big food and drink potential and distinct culture, music, architecture. It would broaden Latin American representation beyond Mexico. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Install Pillow and analyze... sure, go ahead. Do all your Python things. Be my guest. And then analyze that reference image and give me some things here. Why am I getting pinged? Like... I don't get it. Should I apply to be on Twitch front page for February or March? I did it a couple months in a row there. Not in a row, but I did it a couple times in the last few months. Like, we could do that again. That could be fun. So that matches the emotes: round helmet, big visor, stubby limbs, and chibi proportions as a new SCAD file. Good. Do it. And then we'll send it over to Orca and get it running there. So thanks for the watch streak, Morris. Hope you're having a good morning or afternoon, wherever you might be. All right, but I turned this up to high thinking, lots of processing. Go. Don't screw this up. Open it. All right, here we go. Back into OpenSCAD. And this is CharlieBot emote. What do we got? And there's nothing there. It's still rendering. We're missing part of the body there. Like, dude's lost some weight. Right? Like, how the heck do I, like, move this? Like, why are you taking so long to spin there, friend? Like, it's not great. I'm not gonna lie. It's something. Anyways, you can do more with this. And that's something that I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing as I design the case for my cyber deck. So I'll have videos, elements on stream here as I build that out. But I do need to get going here. It's after lunch. I got to get something to eat. Got a couple meetings I got to get into, and I got to do some work. So, big thanks everybody that tuned in today. And we had some fun. Yeah, work. Check out that hat, Bograt. Absolutely. This is AI that's going to tell you the hat that I'm wearing. It's going to tell you. There it is. And I turned off the bot text and the overlay. There it is. So, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to that might be doing something fun, something interesting. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, I've got lots of great videos available. Replays from previous sessions over here, down here, depending on which YouTube app you're using to watch the stream. Taking a look around the horn here. Let's get you connected. Oh, you know what? We haven't... Let's go raid Finite Singularity. Let's raid Finite Singularity. Fantastic. I'm going to do some evaluation and see what's going on tomorrow. Maybe we come back tomorrow and we do the Time Machine ASMR reading stream. All right? That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great recording that you'll be able to find and download from the YouTube channel as I go through and perform the Jules Verne classic, The Time Machine. I'm going to work on... I might get that in tomorrow, might not, depending on how time works out here and what tasks I have to work on tomorrow. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. This button, right? Yeah, there we go.